Hey there YouTube, this is Vargas XX78 with another movie review. Decided to do this new video series reviewing the movies I either go see to the movie theater or later on I might do movies on the collection. But on this occasion, I felt this movie merited, and I'm going to talk about a movie that I've been super hyped to see. Next to the Avengers, this is the movie that I wanted to see this year. And that movie is The Dark Knight Rises. Here in Mexico, we got the movie came out on the July 27th, a full week after it came out in the United States. So this is why I just saw it yesterday, and it's why I took this long to post this video. So I don't spoil anything. I've avoided any video that anyone put on YouTube or in That Guy with the Glasses. A lot of people already put the movie review, but I avoided all of that because I didn't want. This movie was a movie I was so looking forward to. I didn't want to know anything about it. I wanted to go in. I want to see it. I wanted to be surprised, and I was. It really is an amazing movie. I went to see it yesterday. So today's Sunday the 29th when I'm recording this video. I wanted to wait. I actually thought about recording it at night, but then I thought, no, I gotta let everything work in my head, and I'm gonna record it today, Sunday. And after really thinking about it, yeah, definitely, it is an amazing movie so far. It is my favorite movie of 2012. As much merit as I feel the Avengers has, because it brought together all these different characters and all these different actors, and it made for one epic movie. I think that the story in The Dark Knight Rises is a lot better, and it is noticeable, but Avengers is my really close second movie. Not by much. It's not my number one, but after seeing Batman and after thinking about it, definitely think that it's my favorite movie of 2012. Just the story works on so many levels. I don't want to spoil. Everyone's probably already seen it, or at least I hope they have seen it. So I'm gonna go into spoilers, just letting you know, because I do want to talk about it. And I was really hyped about this movie because I loved The Dark Knight. I thought that one, I wasn't expecting much of it because of certain things I saw. And I saw it, and it blew my mind. So my hype for The Dark Knight Rises was really high. I mean, I thought it was either going to be a masterpiece or that it was going to let me down because it wouldn't meet up to my hype. And after seeing it, not only did it meet my hype, but it surpassed it. The movie starts 8 years after the death of Harvey Dent. With his death, Gotham initiated the Harvey Dent Pact, which gave the power to the police to crack down on organized crime. So, for the last 8 years, Gotham has been basically crime-free. It's not the crime-ridden city it used to be. So now Batman is retired. He's been retired for 8 years. And he seems to have a bum leg. They don't really explain what happened to him. Why does he have his leg injury? But he's become like a recluse. He just lives on this part of the Batcave. And without him, Wayne Enterprises is having financial trouble. And all the charity work that the Wayne Foundation used to do is also not as big anymore. So Bruce Wayne doesn't snap out of his rut until he meets Selina Kyle, the Catwoman, because Catwoman infiltrates Wayne Mansion and she steals the necklace that Bruce Wayne's mom wore the night she was killed. So that piques Batman's interest again, and at the same time, Bane is doing this whole thing to get to Gotham and start up trouble, because Bane in this movie is a mercenary that trained under Ra's al Ghul, but they felt that he was too extreme, so he got kicked out, and so now he's doing his own thing. But just really, the setup to the movie was really cool. I liked that they showed that, because Batman always thought that if crime was gone, that he was gonna retire as Batman and live a life. Unfortunately, it do touch upon the fact that he was hoping to have that life with Rachel Dawes, who died in the last movie. So he won his war on crime, but he's not living. He's still brooding about his life, and Alfred is trying to snap him out of it. But it isn't until he encounters Catwoman and he hears about the rumors of Bane that that kind of motivates him to try to get back into the game. Alfred, understandably so, is worried that he's not going to measure up because he's been out of the game for 8 years. He trained for so many years, and then not training for 8 years. Obviously, he wasn't going to be at the top of his game, but that's what made this movie interesting, because you saw a more vulnerable Batman. It kind of parallels The Dark Knight Returns, the book by Frank Miller. They also had a retired Batman that tried to get back into the game. So I like that little touch. So he's trying to get back into being a crime fighter. Even after 8 years, once Batman does make his return, the cops are still after him because they still think that since he took the rap, they still think that he killed Harvey Dent. So he has to deal with Bane, he has to deal with Catwoman, and he has to deal with the police. But then Bane reveals his master plan. The Wayne Foundation was working on this fusion reactor, so Bane steals it, turns it nuclear, and basically turns it into an atomic bomb. And that's when he takes Gotham hostage, and a whole bunch of stuff happens later. I'm not going to go into the rest of the details because you really do have to see it. I really, really recommend everyone out there to see it. But without going too much into the story, I'll make some interesting things that I've been thinking about the movie. And number one is the one thing I do want to touch upon is the comparison between Anne Hathaway's Catwoman to Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman is, I considered for the longest time, the only Catwoman. Halle Berry doesn't count. But the best Catwoman so far that's been made into real life. Not counting the Adam West actresses, but from the Adam West cartoon. But Michelle Pfeiffer, I thought that Anne Hathaway would never reach the greatness that Michelle Pfeiffer did on her role. Michelle Pfeiffer just seemed like a more troubled character. But I gotta admit, Anne Hathaway really did a good job. She portrayed a Catwoman that was only interested in herself, but still had shades of morality to her. She looked stunning in her Catwoman costume. I wasn't too sure about the Catwoman costume, but they made it work. They even made a practical way for the ears to work, because she has her mask, but she puts on these goggles, and then when she lifts the goggles up, they kind of make the shape of the ear. So I thought that was actually pretty cool. And again, she looks amazingly hot in the Catwoman costume. So I still like Michelle Pfeiffer, but Anne Hathaway still did an amazing job as Catwoman. She really, really impressed me. I wasn't expecting much of her, but she really pulled it off, and I liked her interpretation of Catwoman. The other person that I don't have a well, he did appear in Batman and Robin, but he was a joke in that movie. And the villain in this movie, Bane, kicked ass. I mean, he was total badass in this movie. I still find it kind of weird that he made a few jokes here and there, but all in all, Bane was a kick-ass character. I mean, he didn't have the venom that made him strong. He was just strong because of his, because of himself. And when he has his fight with Batman, because spoiler alert, Bane actually breaks the Batman. I mean, just like in the comic books, he lifts him up and then breaks him on his knee and just decimates Batman, which again is understandable because Bruce Wayne was retired for 8 years. So Bane just wipes the floor with Batman, and I was watching it and I just could not believe that they were doing this, and it was done so well, the way how Bane broke the bat. And I was like, oh my, that was amazing. And then he throws Bruce Wayne into this prison and broken and beaten, and he puts a TV screen so that he can see how Gotham burns to the ground because he's gonna blow it up with this bomb and everything. So story-wise, I thought that was well done. It didn't feel hokey. It was based on the comic books, but it didn't feel comic booky. It felt real, and it was amazing. Bane really was a really cool villain. Even though as I was watching a certain scene in the movie, I felt this Darth Vader comparison, because Bane is in his base and then he gets up and he sounds kind of like he has this like breathing apparatus, so it makes him sound robotic and everything. And then these two minions come next to him, and he's like he grabs one and starts choking him but like, you know, literally choking him. And I felt, oh well, yeah, that's interesting. That's like Darth Vader. I even commented to it with a friend that I went to see the movie with, and he kind of picked it up, but because he did also see that it wasn't posing like Darth Vader. But when I pointed out, he was like, yeah, you're right. So, but Bane, awesome villain, and it has a really, you know, if you know about the comic books, you might have seen it coming, but at the end it does have a very interesting plot twist that I wasn't sure they were going to pull off, but they did. And I'm not going to reveal that one because it plays a very big part in the movie. So that plot twist on the end is really cool, and I really liked that. I was like, well done. You actually were able to surprise me. And then they also introduced this other character played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I thought at first he was going to be Dick Grayson, but he has a different name. Again, I thought they were going to go that way because Blake, his name is, he's adopted. He was an orphan and he got adopted. So I thought maybe they were going to, you know, reveal that Blake was his adopted name, not his legal name, but they didn't go that way either. But he did an amazing job in this movie, and I like all of his movies. I really like Joseph Gordon-Levitt as an actor in general, but he did really amazing work on this movie. Just like he did in Inception, he works really well with Christopher Nolan, and I hope they do more movies together, because he did an amazing job. Another person that did really good work was Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon. He was impressive. Nathan Cain wasn't much in the movie as Alfred, but the two parts that he was in it, at the beginning and at the end, were very good acted. And Morgan Freeman's also in it as Fox. And again, he's still funny. They don't give him as much to do as they did in The Dark Knight, but still very important to the plot and the story. So yeah, every one of the actors did a really good job. The story was really cool. It kept you in suspense, and yeah, I want to talk about the ending because it's a big part of everything that happens in the movie, because it does follow up, and the big promotional thing about this is that the legend will end, and in a sense it does, but it doesn't. And I don't want to spoil it for everyone, because everyone in the movie theater, I went to see it with my friends, and everyone in the theater, when the climax happened, everyone was like, I can't believe they did that. But then, okay, if you saw Dr. House, the last episode of Dr. House, you'll know what I mean. If you didn't, then you don't know what I mean. But yeah. Long story short, by the end of the movie, everyone just started clapping. I was there. That's only happened 3 times that I've been to the movie theaters, and people at the end started clapping. One was Independence Day. The other was in the Avengers, and in The Dark Knight Rises. Everyone just, after the big thing that happens at the end, everyone just started clapping, and they were like, yeah! And me and my friend got cut up and everything. We were clapping, and especially me, because I'm a huge fan of Batman, and to see this trilogy end on such a high note, it just blew my mind. And Christopher Nolan really did an amazing job with Batman, with the Batman franchise, and everything he did for the character. Just an amazing work. The only thing The only thing I will complain about, and it's not so much a complaint, it's basically just nitpicking, because Bane cuts off Gotham, so he basically initiates martial law, and he breaks out all the criminals from Blackgate, and even though it's not shown, it is hinted at that he did the same thing with everyone in Arkham. So the criminals basically set up their own tribunal, and the judge is Jonathan Crane, the Scarecrow, which I thought was really cool to see him, because he's been in all three of the movies. He was one of the sub-villains in the first one. He had a cameo at the start of the second one, and now he had a cameo on this one. So it was cool to see Jonathan Crane, the Scarecrow, in all three movies. But as everything is falling into chaos and everything, I kept thinking, I knew that he said in an interview that he wasn't going to do it, that he wasn't going to make a cameo for the Joker, because out of respect to Heath Ledger, but I would have liked that at least someone mentioned it somehow. Through, maybe I missed it, but I was looking really close for any indication of comic book reference or stuff like that. So I was looking out for any mention of the Joker, but there wasn't any. Even when they're in the jury, I was looking out for the guy with the green hair. Maybe he put him in there, but no. And it just seems that it's my only nitpick. Again, I understand why they did it out of respect for Heath Ledger. I get that. But in the context of the universe, with Gotham being thrown into chaos, it would make sense that someone somehow mentioned the Joker, because that was his thing. He was, looking for chaos. And even Bane established that he gave a detonator for the bomb to one of the citizens of Gotham. In the back of my head, I thought that maybe he gave it to the Joker. That would have been interesting. That at any point in time, the Joker would blow up everything. The payoff to that was way better than it had been the Joker. But the fan in me was still hoping that they would have mentioned the Joker. And that's my only nitpick on the movie. I would have liked it for them to at least acknowledge the Joker, because they don't mention that he was killed in the 8 years. Before, between the movie. So, I don't know, that's the only thing that I can complain about, is that, the absence of the Joker, who was such an amazing character in the second one, that, but again, I understand, out of respect for Heath Ledger, why they didn't add anything to do with the Joker, and, not to take up the spotlight from Bane. But, yeah, that's the only thing I can complain about. All in all, the movie was awesome. I liked the editing, I liked the action, I like the fact that they didn't abuse CGI. Everything looked like it was done practically. The only thing that looked CGI, but it was done still very well, was the Bat Pod, because the Bat Pod, whatever, does this thing where it's turning a corner and then the tires flip. That looked pretty CG. And then the Bat, this floating Batmobile that Batman has. But it was really well done. And the other thing I admire is that it had this clash between all the cops in Gotham City and all of Bane's thugs, and they're running into each other and fighting. I couldn't tell that much CG. I'm pretty sure there was some CG in it, but I liked that everything was practical. They didn't have that many computer-generated effects, so that is another thing I really like about the Christopher Nolan movies. But all in all, it was just a perfect movie, and out of from 1 to 10, I would give it a 9.9 just because of not mentioning the Joker. But a 9.9 is still freaking amazing. It really is. Not taking into consideration the Joker thing, it's still a perfect movie. It is. It's edited well. The story is written well. I didn't see any plot holes in the movie. Again, I'll see it. I'm gonna see this movie again. I'm gonna probably go see it on Thursday of next week, because some other friends want to see it. So I'm gonna go watch the movie again with them. So now that I've seen it once and thought about it, I'm gonna be able to look at it in a different way, see if I can track down any plot points. But I didn't detect any plot holes at all. It was a really tight screenplay. It was directed well. It was acted well. The action was good. It was emotional. Again, when they break the Batman and when during the climax of the film and at the end, I really got invested and emotionally charged in those moments, because the climax and the ending were just like, it was perfect. Best ending to a trilogy that Christopher Nolan and crew could have done, and it really is a really good movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. I can totally 100% recommend this movie. Even if you're not a Batman fan, even if you're not a comic book fan, as a movie itself, it works on so many levels. It works as a character piece, because Bruce Wayne, even though he's won, he's still lost, and it works as an action movie with all the things that happen. It just works on so many levels, and like I said, it definitely is my favorite movie of 2012. Of all the movies I've watched this year, this one takes the cake. It beats everything else I've seen out of the water, and not just because I'm a Batman fan, but because it exceeded my hype, and because it's a good movie. Like I said, I still say that Avengers has a little bit more merit to it because it brought everything together throughout all the movie series, and it paid off. But for me, Batman does beat it, and it's the better movie of 2012. So yeah, that's my opinion. I might be right, I might be wrong. I will leave that to you. But final thoughts: go see it, go watch it as soon as it comes out on DVD. Hopefully it'll be a collector's edition. I'm going to pick that up, because as soon as it comes out on Blu-ray, I'm going to pick it up on Blu-ray actually. I'm buying it and I'm watching it, and I'm going to love it. I only have the first two, and just freaking amazing movie. And go watch it after you watched it, or if you've already watched it. Please leave a comment. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did it meet your expectations? Did it totally disappoint you? I want to know, because I personally think it's a perfect movie. It really is. Now I can start watching all the reviews from other people on YouTube, but I just wanted to add my 2 cents about the movie. I know I didn't talk about it as much as I did with the Spider-Man movie, but because, again, I do feel that the climax and the ending is something that you have to watch for yourself, because it really is one of the best endings to a trilogy that I've seen in a while. Everything just came together, and the ending was really emotional, and it was really great. But again, those were my 2 cents about The Dark Knight Rises. If you leave a comment about your thoughts on the movie, I really would appreciate it. But also let me know what you think about these movie reviews. Do you want me to go into spoilers? Do you want me to avoid spoilers entirely? Let me know. Let me know if you still like these movie reviews, so I can keep on doing them. But in the meantime, or until I do another one of these, thank you all so much for watching. And this is Vargas XX78 signing off.